welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something lots of people grapple with. How to actually improve your English skills, really get them to that next level. You might know the vocab, you might get the grammar rules, but maybe you still feel a bit stuck, when it comes to actually speaking fluently or understanding everyday English.
Yeah, that's a really common sticking point.
So our mission today is basically to pull out the most powerful practical tips from the material we've looked at. Think of it as a shortcut to learning more effectively, wherever you are on your journey.
And we found stuff that should help whether you're just starting out or trying to polish up more advanced skills.
Exactly. And the very first big area, making speaking English something you do every single day.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the sources jump right on speaking as the fastest way to get better.
Right.
Even though it's often the skill people shy away from. Maybe because they're worried about mistakes or they think they don't have anyone to talk to.
Totally understandable. But what's cool is the emphasis on just talking, even if it's just to yourself.
Yeah, that one surprised me a little at first.
Me too. But one source gives this great, simple example. Just talk about what you're doing while making breakfast.
Oh, right. Like narrating your own life.
Exactly. So instead of just, making coffee silently, you say, okay, I'm boiling the water now, pouring the coffee, adding milk, that kind of thing. It seems almost too simple, maybe. But the idea is that this kind of self-talk actually fires up the language bits of your brain.
It makes sense. You're activating those pathways.
Yeah, think of it like exercising a muscle. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day, the sources say, can really help build that fluency.
And from a language acquisition science angle, this active production, actually saying the words, embeds things way deeper than just passively reviewing.
Right, you're forcing yourself to produce the language.
Even in that simple breakfast scenario, you're making those English connections in your brain stronger, directly.
Okay, so talking is key. But then there's this other big idea, immersion. Really surrounding yourself with English.
Yeah, and this isn't just about study time. It's about weaving English into your everyday environment.
And the sources have some really practical ways to do this, even if you don't live in, say, London or New York.
Right. Things like changing your phone language to English. That's an easy one.
Or watching Netflix or YouTube, but in English. Maybe starting with subtitles, maybe not.
Or even sticking labels on things around the house. Mirror, fridge, door.
Yeah. It's like you're tricking your brain gently into thinking English is just normal. The default setting.
And when your brain gets all that constant input, it apparently gets better tuned in, learns faster.
That background hum of English, linguists call it comprehensible input, right? Your brain just sort of absorbs patterns subconsciously.
Exactly. You keep seeing or hearing words and structures in context naturally. It's not like just looking up a word in a dictionary,
Totally different. Okay, so the next thing that came up was learning phrases, not just single words. This really clicked for me.
Oh, absolutely. Because you can know loads of words, but if you can't string them together naturally, well, you're stuck.
It's like having Lego bricks, but no instructions.
That's a great analogy. Phrases are like the pre-built sections. They're ready to go.
And the sources gave good examples, like I'm looking forward to it, or what do you think? Stuff native speakers use all the time.
Those chunks of language. Learning them means you sound more fluent, more natural pretty quickly.
Even while you're still learning other stuff.
Right. You don't have to build every sentence from scratch, word by painful word. Plus, you get the feel for how words work together.
Okay, moving on. Watching movies and TV series in English. This seems like a fun one.
Definitely more fun than drilling grammar. And the sources stress it exposes you to real English, not textbook stuff.
Yeah, the messy, fast, everyday kind of English.
And the advice is quite smart. Maybe start with subtitles on, get the story, then try turning them off later as you get more comfortable.
That makes sense, a step-by-step approach.
And you start picking up on accents, slang, tone of voice, how people speak quickly.
Plus, it boosts your vocab and listening without feeling like hard work. It's engaging.
Yeah, the whole audiovisual thing helps a lot with understanding, even unfamiliar words, the context clues, the emotions. It all helps it sink in.
Okay, now for one that might feel a bit weird at first, but the sources really pushed it. Reading out loud.
Not just in your head, vocalizing it.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Well, it directly works on your pronunciation. You have to make the sounds. And it helps with rhythm and flow, making you sound more natural when you speak.
The sources suggest reading anything, really short stories, news, blogs.
And the key thing is, it's not just mental. You're actually training the muscles in your mouth, your tongue, everything involved in speaking English. Apparently, that's like really crucial for fluency. That's fascinating. Speaking is a physical skill, like learning piano or something.
Exactly. Needs practice to get the coordination, the muscle memory. Reading aloud builds that physical familiarity with making English sounds.
Okay, this next one, I think a lot of people will relate to finding this awkward. Recording yourself speaking.
Yeah. Nobody loves hearing their own voice, do they?
Definitely not. But the sources say it's incredibly valuable.
Because you get that self-awareness, you hear yourself objectively.
So the idea is just record yourself chatting about your day, maybe, or reading something.
And then listen back. Cringe a bit, maybe.
Probably.
But then you actually notice, oh, I always pause there, or the sound is a bit off. Things you don't notice while you're just talking.
It's like your own personal speaking coach pointing out the tricky spots.
Yeah, it helps you spot your own patterns, where you hesitate, where things go wrong. It allows for that objective look.
Okay, this leads nicely into the next tip. Starting to actually think in English.
Ah, yes. The internal monologue shift.
Because translating everything in your head from your native language, it just slows you down, right? Causes those awkward pauses in conversation.
Definitely. The goal is to skip that translation step altogether. Just process thoughts directly in English. That's a huge step towards fluency.
It sounds like a big step, though.
Well, the advice is to start small. Simple thoughts like, oh, it's hot today, or where are my keys? Just consciously frame those little thoughts in English.
Okay, manageable.
And gradually it becomes more automatic. The sources even say this shift is like a real sign you're getting properly fluent.
It makes sense. It shows a deeper integration with the language.
It's moving from consciously building English sentences to just using English more intuitively, a real change in how your brain handles it.
Right. Now, tools. Let's talk apps. The sources mention language learning apps are handy, especially if you're busy.
Yeah, things like Duolingo, Babbel, Memrise. They offer structured lessons, interactive bits, can make it more fun, easier to fit in.
Gamification helps, I suppose.
It can, yeah. And they mention one specifically, Hello Talk, which connects you with real people for language exchange.
Oh, interesting. So like a pen pal, but through an app.
Kind of, yeah. Or just chatting. It gives you that real person interaction, which is obviously important.
And these apps are good for drilling vocab and grammar through repetition.
Exactly. And the social side of apps like Hello Talk gives you that crucial practice in actual communication.
But the sources were clear. Apps are good, but they don't replace talking to actual real people.
No, definitely not. Live conversation is where it really happens. It's dynamic, unpredictable. You have to think on your feet.
Put it all together, basically.
Yeah. So the advice is, find ways, join a club, practice with friends who are also learning, find online partners.
They mentioned Tandem and Speaky as websites for that.
And a really important point they made. Focus on connecting with the person, not on perfect grammar.
Oh, that's huge. Takes the pressure off.
Massively. It helps reduce that anxiety people feel. Encourages you to just talk, take risks, which is how you improve faster in the long run. Communication first, perfection later, or never.
Right. Okay, another idea. Keeping an English journal. Daily.
Yeah, this sounds quite low pressure. It doesn't have to be pages and pages. Just a few sentences about your day, your feelings, goals, whatever.
The act of writing helps things stick, right? Vocabulary, how sentences fit together.
Definitely. And it's a private space to just try things out, express yourself in English without worrying about someone judging you immediately.
And the sources say, don't aim for perfection. It's your space.
Exactly. Plus, you can look back later and see how far you've come, which is super motivating.
Yeah, seeing tangible progress, that must be encouraging.
And it helps you get clearer at expressing your thoughts in English, too. It's active, productive, and personal.
Okay, inevitably mistakes will happen. We all make them. But the sources had a really positive take on this.
Yeah, basically. Don't freak out about mistakes. See them as learning chances. Be proud you made them, almost.
Proud? Okay, explain that.
Well, not proud of the mistake itself, but proud that you were trying, that you were pushing yourself. Reframing them as growth opportunities builds confidence.
Ah, I see. So instead of being embarrassed, you ask, okay, why did that happen? How can I fix it next time?
Exactly. It shifts the focus from fear to understanding. And that builds confidence, not anxiety.
A growth mindset, basically. Challenges are stepping stones.
Precisely. Crucial for sticking with it.
Then there's advice about not rushing. Don't jump into super advanced stuff too soon. Master the basics first.
Yeah, get a solid grip on everyday things, greetings, asking questions, common verbs. That gives you the confidence and the foundation for harder things later.
One source used a great analogy. Building a house. You need that strong foundation before you put up the fancy walls and roof.
Perfect analogy. You can't run before you can walk. A solid base means more stable progress later on.
Makes total sense.
Okay.
Okay, another key thing. Listening to native speakers. A lot.
As much as possible, yeah. It gets you used to the real speed, the intonation, the slang, all that stuff you don't always get in lessons.
How things actually sound day to day.
Right. So the sources suggest watching interviews, listening to podcasts, or following YouTubers who just talk naturally.
Good suggestions. And then they mentioned this technique called shadowing. What's that exactly?
Shadowing. It's where you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat what they say exactly as they say it, almost at the same time.
Wow, okay. Sounds tricky.
It can be, but it's amazing for both listening skills and speaking, pronunciation, rhythm, intonation. You're actively mimicking the sounds.
So it bridges hearing and speaking.
Perfectly put, yeah.
Okay, nearly there. A really crucial message was about consistency over perfection.
Yes. This is so important. You don't need marathon study sessions. Short bursts, like 10-15 minutes daily, are way better if you're consistent.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Language learning takes time. Regular short sessions build momentum slowly but surely.
And fluency isn't about speed, necessarily.
Not primarily, no. It's more about the habit, the consistency, the steady progress, not chasing some impossible ideal of instant perfection.
That takes the pressure off again.
Yeah.
Focus on a sustainable routine.
Absolutely.
And finally, what the sources called the best advice of all. Make it fun. Make it personal.
Yes. If you enjoy it, you'll stick with it. Simple as that. That internal motivation is key.
So find ways that work for you. Sing along to English songs.
Watch funny videos. Play word games. Write silly stories. Tell jokes, even badly.
Yeah. Whatever makes it enjoyable. Because that enjoyment fuels motivation, and motivation fuels fluency.
And connecting it to your own interests makes it feel less like a chore, more like, well, fun.
So there we have it. A pretty deep dive into some really practical and hopefully quite engaging ways to boost your English.
Lots of ideas there.
Yeah, and the main takeaway feels like you don't need to overhaul your life. Just pick a couple of these things that resonate, try them out, build a little routine.
Small steps done consistently.
Exactly. It's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And honestly, believing you can do it, because you absolutely can.
Keep that positive mindset.
Definitely. So maybe something to think about as we finish up. Which one of those tips just jumped out at you? Which one feels like, yeah, I can try that starting tomorrow?
Good question to leave people with.
Just having that one concrete starting point can make all the difference, can't it? Kicking off that continued journey.